Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me for this week's Weekly Wisdom. Now, last week we were talking about all of the things that we want to bring with us into 2023. So this week, a continuation on preparing for 2023, we're going to talk about maybe the things that didn't work as well as we would have liked this year. So you can break these up into two buckets if it works well for you, personal and professional, or you can keep it into one bucket. But let's look at what are some of those things that happened in 2022 that maybe we don't want to bring forward, right? What are those things that maybe we'll want to focus a little bit deeper on? Is it that maybe you and your partner weren't getting enough time together? So you want to be intentional about planning more specific time with your partner. Or maybe you found yourself stressed at work because of last minute deadlines because we weren't able to keep up with everything that was happening. So looking at 2023, we want to figure out what are some of those things that we can trim down. Whatever it is, start looking at what were those stress points that you had? What were those moments that were happening where you're like, I can't. And then think back, what caused those moments? What were those fires that were leading into your chaos? What are steps that you can see that if you would have taken, maybe the fires wouldn't have gotten so big? Because what happens is when we're looking at what happened in the previous year that didn't work out the way that we wanted, we can kind of see what happened and how we can move forward, right? We've all heard the saying, hindsight is 2020. But we're rarely, if ever, intentional about creating the time to look with that hindsight. We judge ourselves on it. We beat ourselves up. I should have, right? Recently heard somebody saying that we need to stop shouldn't on ourselves. Big fan of that. Anytime we hear should, that's a red flag. But think about those times last year. What were those chaotic moments? Were they surrounded by a certain person? Every time this person came into your life, chaos erupted. Right? So we can see how all of these worked. So I'm going to give you 3 questions, and I want you to ask these questions to yourself as you prepare for going into 2023. What was my biggest challenge in 2022? That's your first question. Break it down. What was that challenging moment? The second question, if I could do 3 things over in 2022, what would those be? Right? Because you'll get awareness around what some of those things were that I was like, maybe we could have done that a little different. And the third question, asking yourself as we leave 2022 and we go into 2023, I want you to spend some time with this question. If I could improve anything in 2022, no matter the resources, right? No matter the resources, what would I focus on first? This is your blue sky big dream, because when we can figure out the dreams and where the disconnect is, that's when we can start building a bridge between the two. All right, almost there. We only have a few weeks to go before we go into the new year. Spend some time, ask yourself these questions, and figure out what are those things that we do not want to bring into the new year with us. Have an absolutely amazing week. And don't forget, as always, you got this. I'll see you next week.